Are you sure you know today what you want to do the rest of your life? Spanning 6 decades, 3 kids, 3 careers, 3 husbands, I've begun to determine that for myself. Now, we all have to work to sustain ourselves. But how many of you wake up every day and first say, "Thank you, I did," followed by, "I get to do this today"? I do. Now, I never would have imagined myself on a 40-acre goat dairy working 24/7, 365, rising before sunrise every day, working well past sunset most days, and in fact, pulling long, cold all-nighters in the barn for weeks at a time during the spring birthing season. And at the end of the day, never feeling like I had so much right about my life and grateful for the chance, no matter how tired I am. Each of you, every day, are creating your own unique you. Sometimes you're lifted by inspiration. Sometimes you might be jolted like a bolt of lightning. Sometimes you might make a U-turn, and that's okay. But what if you paid attention to all those events as they begin to tell your story? Be curious. Find the path that feeds your soul. At the core of my foundation are 2 of life's most incredible women, my mom and my Nana Zell. I can still hear my Nana in her little Texas drawl saying, "Now, Rhonda, there is nothing in this world you can't do out there," followed by my mom saying, "Yes, but if you do it, you better be proud of it or don't do it." Now, I haven't always followed all of the wise teachings of these 2 women, and I regret that. But these 2 teachings have been my guiding light throughout my life. I was a nurse for many years. Nursing was very good to me and my 3 kids as a single mom. It saved us from the plight of so many single moms. The jobs and the money were good, but eventually it just sort of wasn't enough, and I began to wonder what else might be out there for me. So I took a chance, and I went into real estate. Here, I learned the difference between urgency and emergency, and I learned a lot about marketing and promotion. Because let's face it, as a nurse, I was trained in bedside manner, not banking and home staging. I began to show all kinds of properties, and small farms began to catch my eye. I remember the shake of my husband's head as he saw this simmer of an idea, and he said, "What do you have in mind?" Because you see, he's a fireman, and he knew the flame wasn't far behind. But what I had in mind was feeding my family with food I produced with my own hands. I wanted land, dirt, space, and scenery around me. I wanted a place my dog could bark and no one would care. So we moved to an old cow dairy in serious disrepair and like falling down. But we were here, 40 acres and a duck blind. Now what? You might not have fully lived unless you've spent months in travel trailers making your house habitable. Summer was fun. It was like camping every day. And then the rains came and we worked faster. So then the gardens and the orchard were planted and the land began to provide. Then I got my next really great idea. What if we added just one little dairy goat and we would have our own milk and cheese? Now, I had never milked anything a day in my life, and I had certainly never made cheese. How hard can it be? After months of preparation, Melba and her doe kid joined our farm. I wish I had some pictures of those early days where I literally wore the milk from the bucket she kicked over every time. But after a few days, we settled into a very pleasant and giving routine. I never anticipated how much I would love these goats. Like how, when I close their gate, if it doesn't take me 2 hands, they're gonna open it and beat me to the barn door. Like how when I walk through their pastures, they follow along, or I call them by name and they come to me. Or how they seemingly can read our human emotions and offer care and concern at just the right time. Well then, 3 more pregnant goats would certainly be better, right? Here we go. This is the flame my husband was afraid of. And pretty soon, we had more milk and cheese than our kitchen could handle. So I began to share my cheese with my friends and coworkers illegally. But the responses I got back were, wow, this is the best cheese we've ever had. Wow, you could sell this stuff. And I began to think, could I? Should I? Oh, my husband, he says, Rhonda, can't you ever do anything small? Well, no, I can't. Because you see, I am a Texan. So I put my nurse hat back on and began to read this book of rules. Now, years of interpreting complicated hospital rules took the fear out of this process for me. And within about a year, we became the first licensed grade A goat dairy in our county, as far as anyone could tell. And then a whole new world began to open. I learned things from these goats I could never have imagined. They taught me about the seasonality of food and life. They taught me there is a time to produce and a time to rest. They literally changed the way I eat and think about food. Did you know there's actually a difference between spring milk, summer milk, and fall milk? I didn't either, but now I get it. These goats willingly give us 110% of themselves every day, and we willingly give it back to them. This produces the most incredible milk you can ever imagine. It smells and tastes like melted ice cream. It's this perfection in our milk that makes our cheese what it is. Unique to us, unique to our land, and unique to our sense of place. In fact, a US president has even eaten our cheese. Could I have ever imagined this moderately poor girl from Beaumont, Texas, could create a food with these hands that would be eaten by a United States president? We've come a long way in those 10 years since those first little 7 goats I milked by myself, by hand, just me, no employees. A long way since that first farmer's market when I proudly showed up with my little card table and began to share my cheese with my community legally. I never dreamed we'd have even 1 employee. Now we are 5. Now we milk 20. Now we have about 50 goats on the farm on any given day. Now it isn't perfect every minute of every day, not by a long shot. In fact, about a year ago, a much treasured employee moved on. For the first time ever, I began to contemplate, how would I shut this puppy down? What is my exit strategy? But my passion wouldn't let me do that. We persevered and we made it. We're mostly women working in this entire organization. Some of them have been young that we've brought up and sent them out to their careers of the world, having known hard work and commitment with a sense of protection and giving. Some of us have worked together so long we don't even speak our thoughts. We simply say, "Yes, radar." We've created and nourished a sisterhood of caring and giving. It comes through in all that we do. If our barn and cheese room walls could talk, they would tell you some stories, but they won't, because what happens in the cheese room stays in the cheese room. I truly believe when you taste our cheese, you taste our love. Love of our land, love of our goats, and love of ourselves. The true gifts in life don't come with a purchase price. You find them, you realize them, you create them. You begin to decide what good and enough looks like to you. I never could have imagined nursing would give me excellent vet and midwifery skills for goats, that nursing would teach me to market my own farm, that we would be surrounded by such incredible employees. That's the events that fit together to create my path to plenty. Where will you find your path to plenty? I just want to leave you with 3 suggestions. The first is be curious. Ask the questions. Those little ideas in the back of your mind, pay attention. Don't dismiss them. The second is be willing. Be willing to believe the answers you're getting back. And the third is to be brave. Just go do it. You never know where you may find your happiness. For us, feeding our community feeds our souls. And we know for certain we will never go hungry. Thank you.